Tariffs. A tariff is a tax imposed on imported goods and services. Tariffs have played important roles in trade policy, political debates, and the nation's economic history. Originally, the main goal of the tariff was to raise money in order to pay the federal budget. An urgent need for revenue after the American Revolutionary War led to George Washington signing the Tariff Act of 1789. The Tariff Act of 1789 authorized the collection of tariff duties on imported goods. Tariffs were the source of about 80 to 95% of federal revenue up until 1860, and were the largest source of federal revenue until the federal income tax began in 1914. Excise taxes. An excise tax is an indirect tax charged on the sale of a particular good. Excise taxes can be made by federal, state, and local governments and are not uniform throughout the United States. Excise taxes are collected by the producer or retailer and often remain hidden in the price of a product rather than listed separately. After the American Revolutionary War, low excise taxes were imposed to provide the federal government with some additional money to pay part of its operating expenses and to help redeem U.S. federal and states' debts that had accumulated during the war. Tariffs and excise taxes were authorized by the U.S. Constitution and recommended by the first U.S. Secretary of the Treasury, Alexander Hamilton, in 1789. Hamilton believed it was important to start the U.S. federal government out on a sound financial basis with good credit and a regular, easily collected source of income. History of the income tax. In 1862, in order to support the Civil War effort, Congress enacted the nation's first income tax law. In 1894, the Income Tax Act, otherwise known as the Wilson-Gorman Tariff Act, slightly reduced the United States tariff rates from the number set in the McKinley Tariff in 1890, as well as imposed a 2% income tax. However, the 2% income tax imposed by the Wilson-Gorman Tariff Act was ruled unconstitutional 1 year later in the case of Pollock v. Farmers Loan and Trust Company in 1895. The ruling in Pollock v. Farmers stated that unapportioned income taxes imposed by the Income Tax Act of 1894 were direct taxes and were unconstitutional because they violated the rule that direct taxes be apportioned. In 1913, the 16th Amendment was adopted, allowing Congress to impose an income tax without apportioning it among the states or basing it on the United States Census. Furthermore, the 16th Amendment made the income tax a permanent fixture in the U.S. tax system. Income tax brackets. Federal income tax brackets were established to tell certain individuals at what rate their income would be taxed. Income tax brackets will vary year to year and can change depending on filing status. The rate of taxation is applied only to an individual's taxable income. Here we have the first income tax bracket in 1862. If you made over $600 but not over $10,000, you had a tax rate of 3%. However, if you made over $10,000, you had a tax rate of 5%. These numbers don't account for inflation, however, so these numbers would be much larger today. Modern-day income tax brackets are much more complex. Filing status first became a factor in determining one's tax rate in the year 1952. Here we have the tax brackets for the year 2013. The possible filing statuses are married filing jointly, married filing separately, single, and head of household. Deductions and exemptions in taxable income. A tax deduction reduces your taxable income. Your deductions are subtracted from your taxable income in order to determine your total tax bill for the year.